So, Acho, will the finals loss disqualify LeBron from the GOAT conversation?
As a LeBron stan, as a LeBron super fan, where LeBron goes, I go. Where he stays, I stay.
You in Brentwood, too? That's where you move?
Oprah, it has limitations. But yes, absolutely, beyond the shadow of a doubt, a loss would disqualify, DQ LeBron James from the GOAT conversation.
Can we breathe? I don't want to interrupt you. You really mean that? Say it again. I know this is broadcast. I know that we got produced.
A loss would DQ and disqualify.
It's over for LeBron if he loses.
Here is why. It's over, but here's why. Because, Marcellus, I'm in the barbershop, so I understand these conversations.
True.
I read a book called The Art of War, and in The Art of War, it talks about the best way to win a battle, to win an argument, if you will, is to know your opponent's strategy, their plan of attack. I know Jordan fans' strategies. I know the Jordan fans' plan of attack. And Jordan fans' strategy and their plan of attack is very simple. Jordan was 6 for 6 in NBA Finals. Jordan didn't play in any Game 7s. That's their plan of attack, Marcellus. That is the strategy. But peep this, because Jordan fans, they have an argument. Jordan played in 37 playoff series. In 36, he was the leading scorer for both teams in that series.
A lot. That's a lot.
Jordan played 179 playoff games. He was the outright scoring leader in 165. That is their plan of attack. That is Jordan fans' plan of attack. The only mark of weakness for LeBron, the only one, is NBA Finals
record.
He's 3 right now out of 9. If he goes 3 out of 10, he's DQ'd. In my first lap, I'm going to show you something and show you why LeBron James, if he wins and continues to win, it's not even a conversation. It's not GOATs, Marcellus. It's GOAT, singular, greatest of all time. Not greatest of all time. Greatest of all time. Holla at me with this full screen, please.
Full screen, Prince.
GOAT or GOATs? If LeBron James handles his business and wins these chips, it's over and done with. He has more playoff points for his career, more playoff rebounds for his career, not close, more assists, not even close. Everything LeBron does is done in a surplus of Michael Jordan in the playoffs, except winning titles. Marcellus, I hate to say it, but you got to keep it real. We got to keep it a buck because that's what we do on this show. If LeBron takes an L in the finals, he's eliminated, disqualified from the conversation, because I know what these Jordan fans is going to do.
Yeah, I am going to wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Please do.
I cannot believe that you're going to do that to LeBron James in terms of the perspective you need to even make the assessment of who really is the GOAT. My first pushback is you can't show numbers like that because I hear everyone saying, well, LeBron played more games and more years, so of course he's going to have cumulative more stats.
Of course.
So that's not even going to help LeBron or disqualify LeBron. But let me get to my argument because I've already framed my argument. It's perfection versus a death by 1,000 paper cuts. LeBron's the boa constrictor. LeBron's going to have to just slice up Jordan till he just bleeds slowly, and finally, that LeBron is the GOAT. But how can he do that? Well, first of all, I've been in that same barbershop as you, a lot earlier than you, and not as recent as you. But I remember the bootleg man used to come in there with the videos, with the movies, right?
With them DVDs. Hey. Buy these 10 for $5. How do you have that DVD? The movie is not out yet.
Okay, let me date myself. I remember when he had tapes. VHS was up in that thing. Let me tell you why that's important. Because we're watching 2 different movies. One we already seen through its entirety.
Correct.
Blockbuster.
Yep.
Perfect movie. I'm talking about, whoa. And then after you've seen it, it lives in folklore, and you tell all your friends, everybody coming to the barbershop, have you seen Jordan movie? Have you seen Jordan movie? All of those things. And then the machinery of Michael Jordan kicked in. Nike and his royalty deal with Jordan brand. He makes $100 million every year minimum just off of his brand, his likeness, who he is. That movie not only finished, but continues to live in our minds because of that machinery. LeBron, the movie ain't even done filming yet.
True.
LeBron is still on set. He probably here on the Fox lot right now with a mask on. Still filming the damn movie. But people like you want to already push back before the movie's over and say that there's no way that could be a blockbuster.
Bear in mind, you and I are standing on the same side of the fence. We just fighting with different weaponry. Here's what I mean. I don't think it will be death by 1,000 cuts for LeBron if he wins 5 or 6 chips. It's over and done with. It's not a GOAT conversation. He is the GOAT. Because here's the only argument. If LeBron has 6 total chips, Then what's your argument for Jordan? He went 6 for 6. Okay, that just means he ain't go to as many as LeBron. If Jordan would have went to 12, he might not have gone 12 for 12. But so that's what I would say.
You're at 9 appearances going to your 10th.
Yep.
And you have 3. You're trying to make an argument, well, if he gets 6, it took him 10 trips to get to 3 or 4.
That is
You're
true.
trying to already say he gonna get the 6?
What I'm saying
is too much acreage in front of you.
That's a lot to ask. That's a lot to ask for. But that's a lot to ask for. I'm just saying I don't want it to be a conversation. As a LeBron guy, I don't even want it to be a conversation. But let me get to my point, because this is the point that I'm really thinking about here.
I've been waiting.
If you commit a crime, Marcellus, of a specific action, then you go on probation for that specific crime. Here's what I mean by that. LeBron James has committed the crime of falling short in NBA Finals. If I get a speeding ticket, I go on probation for speeding tickets. If I speed again, my license will get revoked. That doesn't mean I'm not allowed to jaywalk. That doesn't mean I'm not allowed to commit other crimes. What that means is if I speed again, then I will get my license revoked. If LeBron loses a finals again, he will get that GOAT status revoked. That doesn't mean he needs to be all defensive first team. Doesn't mean he needs to lead the NBA in scoring. Doesn't means he needs to get another all-star NBA MVP.
Yeah.
But he can't commit that same crime of losing another finals because he's already on probation for that. The world has already said, hey, Bron, you keep losing these finals now. That's one more strike. That's the problem. So that's where I fall in this.
That's not the problem. You forget that what you're trying to say that he is criminally convicted of is actually what was his invitation to the GOAT conversation in the first place. We took him in knowing that he already had committed the crimes of being in 9 finals and only winning 3.
But
how can you now use that against him? Let me be real to you.
Talk to me.
Because we all went to math class, and this was like the first math class we went to. When you start to learn that, okay, 3 out of 9, that's kind of easy. 33%.
Facts.
What is 3 out of 10 if he loses?
30.
Okay, Acho, you got 33 cents right now. I was like, hey, big dog, come here, man. I need 3 pennies. Is that gonna hurt you? Is that gonna really affect your life? Or let's take it into the other thing, because y'all know you're a millionaire big time now. You know, your brother lied against you in your playing career. You got money now. If you had $33 million and you had to write a $3 million check, actually, you will have to if you pay your taxes. Guess what? It ain't changing your life. There's nowhere where 33 to 30 in any increment is life-changing. But I don't understand why you're trying to make it go-changing.
I like where your head is at.
Like it, the
problem, though, is, Marcellus, we can't sit here and say LeBron's finals record is so bad already that it can't get worse. Like, that's the argument that we're kind of taking.
Nickel.
You feel me?
He go down to like 10 cents or a nickel, then we got a problem, 5 and 10%. But the point is, you can't disqualify a guy that you already invited into a conversation at a 33% win rate when he potentially could drop to 30%. That is not a line of demarcation.
Did we invite LeBron into the GOAT conversation because of his finals record or appearances? I don't think that's it. I think we invited LeBron into the GOAT conversation because he has supreme excellence among every category. Availability, check. That's the biggest thing. The best ability, availability. Sustainability, sustained excellence, check. Okay. Greatness over all categories. Rebounds, assists, points, team, everything. Check, check, check. That's why he's in the GOAT conversation. I don't know if he's in the GOAT conversation because he went to 8 straight finals. That's incredibly impressive, obviously. But I don't think that's what put him in the conversation. What put him in the conversation is 16-time All-Star, 16-time All-NBA. I think it is sustained excellence. I don't know if it has to do with he got invited because of the finals appearances, so he can't be uninvited because of a finals appearance.
I don't know if you're third all-time, tied with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and just the opportunity to win the championship, that gets you the invitation as well. Let's bring in someone who knows a thing or two about basketball, Fox NBA analyst Slick Ric Bucher. So, Slick, will the finals loss disqualify LeBron from the GOAT conversation?
It would only disqualify him if you are saying that this is his last best chance of winning a championship. Acho, my guess is that when you were a DB, that your first step had to be the right step. If you took the first step wrong, you were done. You were cooked on that play. There was no recovering from it.
As an LB, I look a little slimmer now, but I was an LB. You know, I was a linebacker, Slick.
You know,
I'm tracking with you. I'm tracking with you.
Let me say, in coverage.
Yes, correct.
There you go.
You just took the first wrong step when it comes to this argument, because titles do not work in any way for LeBron James in the argument for being the greatest of all time. In that, if you are going to make it all about titles, then yes, you not only have Jordan in the conversation, but you have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the conversation with 6. You have Bill Russell with 11. So it can't be about the number of titles that he ultimately has, no matter what his finals record is. And you keep talking about, well, if he gets 4, 5, 6, he's never had a three-peat. He's never had 2 in a row
Right.
at 26, 27, 28 years old. So now you're telling me at 35, 36, 37, 38, he's going to win 3 out of 4? It defies logic that he's going to get more. This is, in my opinion, his last best chance. It's remarkable that he's even got this team to this point. But I can't discount the possibility that, as unlikely as it may seem, that they run it back and whatever went wrong against the Miami Heat in the bubble, that they're able to correct that and he's able to get one next year. And this is the key. This is the only way that titles becomes a plus for LeBron James in the greatest of all time conversation, which is if he wins 3 with 3 different franchises. No player in the GOAT conversation has done that. That's the only way titles become something that verifies or gives LeBron James credit as being the greatest of all time. Other than that, all the percentages, as Marcellus noted, he's losing on that. He's got to go in other directions.
Well, Slick, just to clarify, he did go back-to-back in Miami. Remember, they lost the first one back-to-back and then lost that. So I know it doesn't really change the context of your argument.
It's not a three-peat, though.
But it's not a three-peat.
No, not three-peat.
But here's where I disagree with you, Slick. I can't entertain the people that start to bring in names into the conversation that shouldn't be there. Oh, well, Robert Horry, he has 6 chips.
I didn't say Robert Horry.
Well, he said Kareem. What name you about to say that?
Yeah, exactly. I said Kareem and I said Bill Russell.
There's some people that are in the conversation that if we want to bring Bill Russell into the conversation with his 11, now the whole conversation just gets distracted. I'm the type of guy that likes to focus on the legitimacy of the conversation.
Wow.
Bring in Kareem and bring in Jordan and bring in LeBron.
You are really just
how many chairs in your barbershop? You only got like 2 chairs in your barbershop?
I'm not arguing with...
There's some old man over there mad at you right now.
I'm not arguing with the 80-year-old cat who walks into the barbershop with the cane with the... Hey, bring Bill Russell back in that conversation. Now, you don't remember what Bill Russell was doing back in the 1968? I'm not engaging in that debate.
That's what you're doing.
Well, I will say this, like being real about this, the 33 percentage where you can now lose and go to 30% is not a disqualifier. I already stated that in my first lap. The other thing about this is you have to respect Acho, and we haven't talked about this. Why is LeBron in the GOAT conversation and won't be disqualified even if he loses this one? It's because Michael Jordan told us so. And when did Michael Jordan tell us so? You remember Michael Jordan, who kept it down the middle when he played. Republicans buy sneakers, too. Never stepped into any of the social issues or political issues. He just kept it focused on basketball. Then we kind of started to hear things about him in terms of gambling and him just, like, enjoy himself away from the court and playing golf. That's it. But we didn't know much about Michael Jordan. And then one day, and I'm going to tell you what day it was. One day, Michael Jordan said, let these people know about me. And you know what day that was? The exact day it was? The day that the Cleveland Cavaliers had their championship parade from LeBron James bringing the team back from a 3-1 deficit and LeBron James stating that he was the GOAT. So the GOAT in everyone's mind all of a sudden woke up and said, that guy's the GOAT, and LeBron James has done nothing to disqualify himself from that conversation. So that's why LeBron James is still in this GOAT conversation, because the GOAT or the other guy already introduced him to it.
I have an issue. Let me go back to Slick. I got an issue. Oh. I have issues, but I have the issue with Slick is, Slick, when we're talking about this conversation, we're talking about the conversation of, one, skill is what has LeBron James and Michael Jordan in that conversation. It's not just a conversation about chips. Otherwise, that conversation gets convoluted. It's a conversation about skill. We all can look at the tape and look at the numbers across the board and say, this is a conversation between Jordan, between LeBron, between Kareem, if you will, between Magic, if you will, between Kobe, if you will. But I really want this conversation to be about the two dogs at the top, LeBron and Jordan. And if it is about those two, the only thing then and therefore that LeBron does not have over Jordan is titles. Now, you can simply say, because I hate when people say they try to pick stats to make somebody be able to compare to somebody else. No. LeBron and Jordan are in the conversation. The only thing Jordan has is titles, which is why I am therefore making it a title conversation. If LeBron gets up there to 4, 5, or 6, but really honestly just 5, it's not even a conversation anymore. It's over and done with. LeBron has the same amount of titles as you, Jordan. What else you want to get on me? Oh, you have more all defensive teams. Oh, you have more finals MVPs. Yeah. Oh, you have more NBA MVPs.
That matters. I mean,
look, here's the thing. This is what disappoints me, Acho. There are so many situations where you're Catherine Zeta-Jones in Entrapment, and Marcellus with his Wileyisms is all those laser beams, and you find a way to navigate your way through them and get to your point without being burned by them. And now you're saying, I'm just answering the question. Would a finals loss disqualify him? Doesn't have anything to do about stats or anything else. Has to do about titles. So on one hand, you are saying that you don't want it to be all about titles, but you're saying that if he doesn't win this title, then he's automatically disqualified.
Yes.
I don't get that argument.
You're getting double teamed by 2 Ivy Leaguers. Destroy him.
And the problem is, Ivy League exists off reputation alone, no substance. Here's the problem with you 2 Ivy Leaguers is this. You know what they say? It's harder to get into the Ivy League than stay in the Ivy League. Okay? Y'all got there, but it was easy to stay there because they don't truly test y'all's education once y'all arrive. So let me test y'all's education. Now it's all arrived on this show.
UT was the Harvard of the Southwest, by the way.
He caught there.
I'm dodging these. I'm dodging these low blows, and I'm staying on track.
Okay.
Here's what it is for me, Slick. You can't really get into a debate. If LeBron is 3 for 10, and you're in a debate with a Jordan head, it's very simple. 6 for 6 in the finals, no finals MVPs. But LeBron has more. 6 and 6 in the finals, no finals MVP. Wait, but LeBron has more. 6 or 6 in the finals and no finals MVPs and no game 7s. 6 was you're going to keep arguing because I've been in these debates till I'm blue in the face. But LeBron. And you can't continue.
You can't let them get you because Jordan already told you LeBron's in this debate even when he was 3 and 6, even when he was 3 and 5.
Marcellus,
and you're trying to now say he's going to lose because 3 and 9 is different. 3 and 6 is so much worse than 3 and 7.
It's not necessarily what Jordan says. Here's why. Think about all the times with humility, you're like, no, man, that dude can ball too. When you playing in the league of defensive end, no, that dude got game. In your head, you're like, that dude on the same level as me. But I'm going to show at least a little bit of humility in this moment. He got game too. But in your head, you're like, man, that dude can't touch me. Of course, Jordan's not going to be like, nah, LeBron, sorry, he don't even belong in the conversation. That's not what he's going to do.
No, I'm going to tell you what I would feel. If there was ever a moment where people started to say Marcellus looks like the greatest defensive end of all time, or Reggie White, rest in peace, or Bruce Smith would have just came out of their slumber and made a documentary to highlight how they were the greatest defensive end of all time, I would be like, got him, because that's why he did it. Let me be real about this. The reason he greenlit The Last Dance the day of that championship parade is because LeBron said, I am the GOAT. So all I'm telling you, Acho, next time you go to the barbershop and they start shooting at you with the laser beams, this is a 12-round fight. LeBron is not going to knock Jordan out. But he has to win on the scorecard. And last time I checked, all you have to do is win more rounds than not every single round.
And I'm saying he can knock him out with 6. Right, he can knock him out with 6, Marcel.
6, and he at halfway right now in a 17-year career.
In 12 days, he's going to be at 4.
We'll see. Coming up at the top
you know what?
of the
You could win this argument, Acho, if we spend another hour on it. Maybe. It's unlikely. It's unlikely, but maybe. That's a possibility. But the reality is there's not going to be an hour left to debate this, and LeBron doesn't have time to win 3 more championships. The idea that he's going to match Jordan in titles is not realistic. So if it's about titles, It suddenly isn't Jordan versus LeBron. The only argument that LeBron has are the multitude of statistics. And I can dismiss those because the game is so different. You guys keep talking about The Last Dance as being an infomercial. And I don't disagree with that in terms of Jordan wanted to demonstrate and remind everyone who he was and what he did. But what it illustrated to me was how different the game was back then and why the numbers, the pure numbers, don't relate. Because you had games in the 80s consistently, and now you have games 100 plus consistently. And yes, being a 9-time Defensive Player of the Year first team versus a 5-time Defensive Player of the Year first team, Jordan versus LeBron, that matters. More MVP titles, that matters. Like, those are the things that I can weigh and compare that go beyond the stats because it's what they did in the time that they were in the league.
Now, that was a 12-round fight right there.